Hello and welcome back to my channel. This video is going to be a pregnancy Q&A. I had a bunch of y'all ask me questions over on my Instagram stories about pregnancy and natural birth and labor and what I did. So I'm just going to go through all of those questions and just tell you a little bit about my journey through pregnancy. Alright, the first one is, did you have a birth plan? I did, yes, but I didn't have like a written birth plan. I know some women do that. I did not. But I did have a plan of how I wanted it to go. I had everything prepared and organized, all that stuff, but it did not go according to plan. You can go back and listen to our birth story. I will leave it linked below, so you can check that out and actually hear the entire story of the labor. What helped you most during pregnancy? Besides Kevin, he was a huge help through like every day, every time like I was nauseous or just feeling super tired or anything. He did so much during the entire pregnancy for me. But besides that, I would say probably something that I took would be Ningxia Red. It is a like a drink. You drink 1 to 2 ounces a day. I usually mix it with orange juice or club soda, something like that. And sometimes I'll do essential oils in it, but it is packed with so many nutrients. It has antioxidants, it helps your immune system, milk supply. It supports a healthy placenta, which is really why I started drinking it during that time. And just overall helps your pregnancy. It's not just for pregnant women, it's for anyone. It is an amazing drink. I will leave some information linked below about that as well, so you can check that out. What did you crave the most during your pregnancy? Probably watermelon. I ate a lot of watermelon during that time. Did you struggle with being nauseous, and what did you do to help it? So I was a little bit nauseous during the first trimester, but I didn't have a lot of nausea. But during like the second and third trimesters, it was really weird because whenever I would take a nap during the day, when I woke up, I would instantly feel so nauseous. Like, it was the weirdest feeling and it would not go away. I don't even know what it was. It was only when I took naps. I asked my midwives about it. They had no clue what it was. I looked it up and I still don't know why I did that. I didn't know what I was like deficient in or what was causing that. So if you have been pregnant and has experienced something like that, like when you wake up from naps, not like wake up in the morning from sleeping, but if you wake up from naps during the day, you get super nauseous, let me know what that was because I still don't know. And then what really helped me when I was feeling nauseous that way was probably watermelon. That's probably why I ate a lot of watermelon. Just anything cold fruits, ice. During the first trimester, it really helped me if I got nauseous to make sure I just eat something before I do get really hungry. And that really just helped me not get nauseous during the day. What supplements did you take and how did you prepare your body for birth? So I actually drank more teas and ate more things to find my nutrients in food than actually take a bunch of supplements. But I did take some. I took a gummy prenatal because I could not swallow very well, especially on the days that I was nauseous. The gummies really helped me with that. I wasn't very consistent on the prenatal vitamins, which I probably should have been, but those, I will leave everything linked below. But I took gummy prenatal vitamins. I took vitamin D because I was deficient in vitamin D and iron for a while, so I took a liquid iron and a vitamin D pill. That's the only supplements I really took. Besides that, I drank red raspberry leaf tea every single day starting at my second trimester, and then when I was 30 weeks I started drinking nettle tea, and then when I was 34 weeks, when I was 34 weeks I started drinking nettle and alfalfa tea together along with the red raspberry leaf tea. I began eating dates at 36 weeks. I would eat 4 to 6 dates a day. And then just preparing my body for birth, besides like eating and taking things, I would do stretches every now and then. The last few months was really hard because I had some difficulties doing that, but stretching, mentally preparing, and really just focusing my mind on positive things and not letting negative stories or comments come into my mind at all, because I wanted to stay positive through the entire pregnancy. And then prayer was another thing that I did a lot during pregnancy, just to really just focus on the Lord and let Him have control over the entire pregnancy process. What was the hardest part of pregnancy for you? This probably would have been when my hip went out. My kidney dropped maybe like a month and a half before my due date, and it caused my hip to completely go out. I could barely walk for a couple weeks. We tried different things and it finally went away maybe like 2 or 3 weeks later, but it was awful during that time. I was in so much pain and like nothing we tried would work, so that was probably the hardest part of my pregnancy for me. This is kind of the same question, but I can answer it differently. What was the biggest mental or physical challenge of pregnancy? So the physical challenge was probably definitely when my hip went out. That was the worst thing physically for me, but mentally probably actually starting to show having my bump show was the hardest thing for me mentally. I don't even know why, but I was so self-conscious of just showing, because people would look at me more when I would go into the store. It's just a common thing that people tend to draw to, because you're having a baby and asking how far along you are, or if it's a boy or girl, all that stuff. It just brought more attention to me, and I'm very much introverted, so that just gave me more stress most of the time, and it just bothered me so much when I started to show. I tried to hide it for as long as I could because I just didn't like that. I know a lot of women want to show and can't wait to actually show off their belly. I was completely opposite, and I still don't know why. How did you prepare mentally for labor? Definitely praying. I listened to a lot of podcasts on birth and natural labor, all that stuff. Just preparing my mind mentally for the actual labor process. I watched a lot of YouTube videos of positive birth stories, and I did positive affirmations about the birth and just relying on the Lord through this entire process that I was going through. Would you change anything now if you could? Besides the midwives we chose, I would change that, but I'm not going to go into that in this video. I would probably have tried to handle stress better. I was in a very, very stressful state during my pregnancy, not because of the pregnancy, just other stuff going on in my life. I was very much stressed. I had so much that I could have just stopped and let go of, even though it probably wasn't the best thing I could do in that time frame. But for me, I probably would have just said whatever and let it go, just to have that positivity and have that healing for my body, because the stress did take a lot of toll on my body and the entire pregnancy and me, because I was already tired and growing a human inside of me, but having that extra stress on top was just terrible. So I probably would have just, now knowing that, I probably would have just said whatever and let it go. Why did you want a home birth? I wanted a home birth because it would have been a more peaceful atmosphere for me. Just being at home really comforted me more than just going to a hospital and having everything hooked up on me while I was trying to give birth. And I really wanted a water birth as well. So just doing that in my own home, so I could just have the baby and then be there in my room and in my bed and starting life, it just made so much more sense to me. I am not against hospital births in any way. I was not against medical intervention if I needed it, but I really wanted to go naturally and at home. It just amazes me at how God created the woman's body to actually know what it's doing to grow a human and actually birth the baby. And I really realized that when I was going through labor, that my body just knew what to do, and it was amazing to experience that without having all the medical intervention at the time. Just gave birth completely naturally, and it was an amazing process. And the last one that I have is how to stay positive during your pregnancy. I struggled with this a lot because of all the stress I was under, but really just praying and relying on the Lord through all of it. I know pregnancy, you go through so many different changes. Your body's changing, you're tired all the time. There's also other complications, like you're deficient in something, or you're having different pains, or have to take different tests. I've been through a lot of it. But just really relying on the Lord and keeping Him as your focus and giving your entire labor and birth and baby over to Him really helped me find peace and staying positive, because I know He was in control. If you have more questions that you want to know about birth or labor or natural home birth, anything, leave them in the comments below and I will get to them and answer them for you. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.